Welcome back to Full Court Femmes.
Today, we are coming to you live from New York City after watching 8 hours of Big East basketball yesterday. But for the Johnnies, the real work begins today.
Yes, it does. Big East Tournament quarterfinals, Madison Square Garden. St. John's finally takes the floor.
So excited to see our Johnnies hit the floor today as the regular season champs and the number one seed in the tournament. But the one downside is they play their first game against none other than Providence.
Yep. If you're thinking this is a comfortable matchup, it's not.
It's not, and Providence proved it last night in a high-scoring win over Butler. When we watched the game, there were really three players who stood out to us.
Let's start with Mila, who last night dropped 23 points. Like, where was he the first two games?
We never saw him.
No, he attacked the rim, he got to the line, and he kept Butler's defense scrambling.
And I am going to say it, he was the skinny kid shooting from the perimeter that none of us knew who he was.
Also, you had Jalen Sellers also finishing with 23 points, including some big perimeter shots when Butler started to close the gap.
Well, yeah, but the real eruption came when Stephen Vox hit the floor. I mean, he had 28 points. I feel like it's a career high for him.
That was a career type night for him. He was aggressively shooting, transition baskets, confidence from deep.
Yeah, Caroline, when Providence gets scoring from three different directions like that, they become much harder to defend.
Well, and if you're a St. John's fan, as we are, you clearly know this team has history with Providence already.
Let's talk about it. The first meeting, January 3rd,
Oh.
Providence wins 77-71.
That was the game where Providence completely flipped the final 6 minutes.
Yes, they did with a 22-7 run, and the Johnnies never recovered.
But the second meeting told a different story. February 14th, we all remember that game. It's all over the papers. St. John's won 79-69.
Yes, that was a much more controlled performance. They handled Providence's physical style, moved the ball better, and closed the game much stronger.
All right, so the question today is which Johnny's team shows up? The one who kind of felt like they were sleeping back in January, or the one that, should they had the opportunity to throw punches, they would have thrown punches, but they were controlled and not chaotic. And they managed that fight scene on February 14th beautifully. So we got to figure out, what do they need to do today to win if that February team shows up? Well, they got to control the glass. That's the first key.
We know, right, ladies, that Providence lives off second chances. If St. John's finishes possessions with rebounds, the Friars lose a huge part of their offense.
Key number 2, contain the scoring wing players.
Well, we just talked about the stats for these three guys. Last night, Providence proved that they had multiple scoring options in Vax, Mila, and in Sellers. So someone's going to take the shots. It's just how are the Johnnies going to defend against them?
The goal isn't 0 points. The goal is contested points.
You're right, Annie. So if it's about contested points, then for us, we need to allow Zuby to control the paint.
In February game, St. John's won the interior battle.
Of course they did, because Zuby's the Big East Player of the Year, as you said yesterday. He's going to control that paint, and when he does, Providence defense has to collapse.
Yes, Erin, that's when the offense opens up for everyone else.
All right, key number 4, execute late.
Well, Providence is comfortable in close games. We saw it against Butler, and we saw it against us back in February. The slow tempo is what they play, and they wait for the other team to make mistakes.
Which means St. John's can't rush late possessions. They have to stay disciplined. All right, Annie, quarterfinal night. What? Madison Square Garden. What do you see?
Okay, my crystal ball. I see Providence is going to make this physical. They'll try to slow the pace and keep the game uncomfortable. But I think St. John's depth eventually shows up. They control the boards, they get enough paint scoring, and the defense tightens late.
Wow. What's the score?
Okay, here we go. St. John's 85, Providence 73.
Okay, I'm comfortable with that. That's good separation.
Not easy, but convincing.
I agree. So if St. John's advances today, which God willing they will move on to the Big East semifinal.
And we'll be right back here breaking it all down.
So if the Red Storm win today, tune in tomorrow for the next episode.
And of course, subscribe to Full Court Femmes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube.
No hype, all hoops.
Let's go, Johnnies!